Learning to control their impulses could have a dramatic effect on these children's futures. This is a rerun of a now famous experiment carried out over 30 years ago in New York, which shows just how important impulse control and delayed gratification can be. It's known as the Marshmallow test. 4-year-old Stanley is trying not to eat the marshmallow in front of him. If he can wait 5 minutes without eating it, he's been promised he'll get 3.
The studies were originally conducted in the late 1960s, and these were a series of experiments that looked at children's ability to delay gratification.
Stanley is alone in the room, unaware that he's being filmed. The bell is to summon the researcher should he need help, or should he eat the marshmallow before the time is up. In the next room, his mother watches his progress.
Probably only been about 30 seconds, but it feels much longer, doesn't it, when you're hoping to goodness that they're not going to pick it up and chomp it. No, no, don't eat it, don't eat it.
The children who originally took this test in the 60s have been monitored at various stages of their lives. The results are startling.
When the children were in adolescence, 13 to 15 years old, I took up this study and working with my colleagues began a follow-up study where we sent questionnaires out to their parents, basically asking them, how are your kids doing now? Well, we found there were 3 basic things that came out of the parental responses. One of the things is that kids that were able to wait as a preschooler were kids that were described by their parents as being more socially competent. They got along with other kids better, they had more friends, they were more outgoing, and so forth and so on. They're more academically competent, they do better in school, they tend to go a little further in school. And finally, they tend to cope with problems better. That is, when they have problems and they're frustrated, they cope with those problems better than do the kids who were unable to wait.
It was such a simple experiment, but no one expected the results. Nobody expected that the children who waited compared to the ones who grabbed that marshmallow, as they were graduating and ready to go to university, would have on the SAT, the American exam for university entrance, a 210-point advantage out of 1,600 points.
Just counting it.
The test is just as revealing with any favorite sweets. For honor, it's Smarties that pose a real challenge. On average, only 2/3 of children pass the marshmallow test.
The kids that are successful at waiting at that particular task are kids that use strategies like singing, playing with their clothes, doing fantasy games, looking around the room, playing with the table. They come up with a variety of distractors for themselves. The kids that have difficulty waiting are kids that fix their attention on the marshmallows. If they look at the marshmallows and they focus on those marshmallows, you know they're not going to wait much longer.
The 5 children in this experiment found various ways to avoid focusing on the sweets. All of them played with their hands. Some devised games. Some pulled faces in the two-way mirror. Others sang.
I can only just wait for 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Let's see if you can do that then.
Okay.
All right? And if you can stop eating them, that's great. But if you want to eat them, ring the bell, and I'll come back into the room, and that's fine. But you don't get your 10 sweeties at the end if you do that. It's the only thing.
Okay, I'll just try and wait for 2 minutes until you come.
All right. Well, I'll leave you in here.
Here.
Okay.
Young Jack was optimistic about his chances.
All right.
But would the temptation prove too much? So will Jack's lapse bode ill for his future?
Two things to know about if your kid eats the marshmallow. One is, it's not a doomsday sentence, because one of the things that we know is that there are many kids who don't delay gratification who go on and do quite well. But as a group, there tends to be more kids who struggle in that particular situation.
Did you feel like you couldn't resist them?
I feel that my time had come to eat them.
There's